Hi guys, I'm going to talk about attractiveness of different groups and the group and about the group that I think is really hot and that really wins it, right? Um, so the European white women, right? They are pretty hot. So they have a good structure. They have good meat and muscles in them, and they've got good sharp features, and they have this fair skin that from an evolutionary psychology point of view, fair skin is a it's a good thing to have. So they have that, and and then they've got good uh, uh, a good figure and a good posture and a sexy body and they also have a nice attitude, not nice attitude, but a good attitude, and they have this confidence about them and confidence about who they are as a group of people, and all the things that's associated with being the developed lot uh, compared to all the regions of the world and everything. So they have a lot of things going for them, right? With respect to their perception and actually and with respect to perception, as well as they have some good attractive features as well, right? um, but I think the hottest one would have to be between the Arabs, the Persians, or the South Asians, especially Pakistanis, and in India, that Kashmir, Punjab, that north part. And I think um, these are the best ones. Generally speaking, Iranians and Arabs, they have a lot of good features because they live in a better altitude. So even they have these sharp features and fair skin and a good figure and everything because of living in a good, reasonably colder climate and all that. And uh, but what makes them a cut above the European ones is because they have a good skin and a lot of sensuality about them and the flavor about them, whether it comes from eating tasty, healthy, good food with a lot of spices and a lot of flavor in it, or um, even that's got something to do with your food consumption has something to do with um, with your sensuality, right? With your senses and the way uh, your brain and your nervous system gets nourished, and your skin, the way your skin gets nourished, and also in that aspect, like I think South Asians have really good skin as well compared to white chicks. It's like the white skin is pretty much like the skin that you would find in a if you shave a ape, right? It's gonna have white skin with pinkish white skin with uh, dots that look like freckles, right? So that's the skin that Europeans have. It's kind of primitive and all that. But I think the South Asian skin has got a lot more vitamin C in it. It's a lot smoother and silkier, and it's got more sensuality and flavor, and it's nice to look at. It's a nice. Yeah, so yeah, it's got a nice color to it, flavor to it, a lot better feel to it, and yeah, I think South Asian skin is the best skin. I mean, even amongst the Arabs and the Persians, I think South Asian skin is better. Uh, the only problem is that South Asians, not only a few percent of the population has got hot chicks, and they are concentrated. I mean, mostly a lot of the North Indian, what we would refer to as the North Indian chicks, they are the better group, I would say, when it comes to attractiveness. South Indians are disadvantaged in a lot of ways, which I've discussed in other videos as well. Uh, so in this video, I'm really just going to be comparing the North Indians and the rest of the world. I admit that South Indians are not really that looking. I'm a South Indian as well. Anyway, I mean, South Indians can actually catch up It's just a few things that has to be changed, which I've discussed in other videos. But this is just going to be about North Indians with the Persians and Arabs and all that. So Arabs, when I say Arabs, I've only seen mostly those Lebanese and Turkish people. Turkish, I know that they are half Mongoloid. I mean, not half Mongoloid, but they have a heavy percentage of Mongoloid genes within them in Turkey, right? Because of the history and the invasions that happen and everything. And I've also seen a lot of Lebanese who I don't know if you should classify them as Arabs or as the Phoenicians, right? Phoenicians were kind of related to those Greeks and the other Mediterranean groups. Because I think there's also been other Christian invasions in Lebanon where a little bit of a white influx has been there, which gives them like colored eyes and all, but I'm not really sure. But I think even general Arab chicks who stay away from the sun, who are not really dark, even they are kind of good, I would say. And this even Persians are kind of in the same league, I would say, as Arabs. They've got the standard fair skin and lighter eyes and nice sharp features as well. The Persians and Afghanis too a little bit. But I think the better the top percent of the North Indian and Pakistani people, they are, I think, the hottest amongst everyone, even Arabs and Iranians. You take the best top 1 or 2% of Arabs, Iranians, whites, and Indo-Pakistanis. I think Indo-Pakistanis win hands down, right? Maybe even Bangladeshis can be considered the top 1% from them as well. That's for the reasons that I mentioned, the sensuality and I've also, it's got a lot to do with sensuality means they've got more senses, and obviously they are kind of more intelligent as well. And in my other videos I've given the reasons as to why I think they're more intelligent and all that. If you manage to read about those, read those blogs and everything, right? So, but what I think is kind of a problem for South Asians at the moment is it's a poor region. As of now, there's a lot of people, but only a few are good looking, and only a few are kind of attractive. The remaining ones not. In North India, at least, a lot of people are not really that well nourished or have a good lifestyle, so they're pretty stressed out, and it kind of shows in their appearance, and that's not really a good thing for them. But one other thing that I wanted to suggest is that I mean, this is kind of a problem with North Indians, right? So, well, the girls don't really well, the thing with North Indians and Pakistanis is that they know that they're cute, right? So that's a big plus for the women. And generally, South Asian culture is it's got a lot of femininity in it and neoteny in it. The way they talk and behave and something. So the women are the cute, and so it's a big advantage in that way, right? But it's not such a great advantage for the men, right? And compared to the Western men, South Asian men, they don't really come across as that appealing. I'm not talking about the ones that are staying in the second generation ones that are living in the West, but the ones back home, right? Even amongst the ones that are living in the West, many look up to, unfortunately, many look up to whites, and they try to mingle with them and everything. Many people think that they have to somehow try to be part of the white society. But I just want to make a point here that, we Desis are the best. So we don't really have to try to fit in with them. It's the whites who have to try to come and fit with us, even though we are living in their society, and the problem is they're in control of things. So I think we think that we have to go and try to mix with them, but we just have to constantly have this thing that we are the better specimen of them, and we constantly have to carry that confidence and act in that way, so that we are advantaged in a number of ways, right? So we need to have that realization and confidence about ourselves. When it comes to the idiots living in India, right? A lot of North Indians a lot of them are really fake. Um, it's annoying. I've heard a lot of a second generation. I've lived in Australia and US for a good amount of time, and I've actually heard this from a lot of people living over there, that guys in Bombay and Delhi, they are very fake and everything, right? Um, I mean, they are simply just trying to ape the West, and they lack originality. They are trying to mimic something, and they come across as pretty stupid. Sometimes you think that they're very superficial, and there's no real depth to their thought, and that's why they come across as quite repulsive and quite annoying. I mean, even though if they have good features, even though they have the cuteness part of it, they're kind of, you don't really think that they are you don't really get the feeling that they're classy people, because they're fake and superficial and stupid. Right? So even amongst Indians, right, the only ones who are considered better are the ones who try to mimic the West in the best possible way, right? So people who I don't know, like you go, you find the the hi-fi crowd of Bangalore or Bombay or whatever, right? Whoever acts more Western, they are the ones who are uh, considered the elite, and they are the ones who have a sense of confidence about who they are. And these guys are not necessarily stupid like the other fake ones that I referred to earlier, but these guys are confident about themselves because they act in a more Western way, or at least they talk English, and then they know all about the Western culture, and they've got a lot of exposure to it, and they think that makes them that's what gives them a confidence, and that's what makes them better, is what they feel, right? But I think there has to be an alternate about who is the who are the elites in India. Right now the elites in India are someone who can speak English well, and who who can talk and act like a Western person. But Indians need to develop their own way of uniqueness, and and have their own way of acting. Well, I can't really find the right words to describe what I'm trying to say, but um, you don't have to act or be Western to be cool, right? You can talk in India and act in an Indian way and still come across as a cool person, right? So basically what cool or basically what the classy people do, right? Or basically the people who think they are above the others, the way they act is this: uh, they show minimal emotions to someone who they think is below them. So they don't really they respond with fewer words, so as to let them know that the other person is not really making an impact on them in a big way. So that because the other person is not at the same level as them, so they express minimal emotions. But Indians, right, by default they express a lot of emotions, and that's why by default they come across as a lower level. Just the way they act, it puts them in a lower strata, right? So generally speaking, people who don't show that many emotions generally are the ones who think they are better than the others, right? And whereas a person who thinks he is a person who realizes that he is below the others, he generally uh, he he is an ass kisser, and he makes a lot of effort to go and try and be with the other person and all that. So uh, one thing we Indians should do is we should kind of reduce our emotions and stop being in awe of dumb things. That's what a lot of people in India are like that. They use the word cool too much, and they use the word they are easily impressed by stuff, and they're easily impressed by anything that's foreign. And these are the things that makes us kind of not so cool, right? So we have to kind of work on that. I mean, it's not like we should be a total snob, or I don't know what the right word is. No, I'm not saying we should be totally grumpy. It's just that we should we can express a lot of emotions in a very confident way, right? If you're simply just being quiet and serious all the time, that again is an indication of we're not really having it good. We can express a lot of emotions, but in a very confident and bold way. Otherwise, we can just express as minimal emotions as possible, right? So that's one thing that we can do. And it's like this. So it's like for the second generation Indians living in UK or US, all right, they don't have anyone else to look up to. They don't have any guys living in India who are like idols. For example, Aussies are kind of, they're like the filthiest of the white, right? They're pretty dumb. They're not really that good looking either, but they have this sense of confidence about them because they're white, and the European whites are right up there. So they derive their confidence from the fact that even they belong to the white race, and they have the Europeans to look up to and mimic and act like them, right? But Indians in UK or US, they don't really have anyone in India who's a strong or a cool character. Every celebrity in India, every actor in India, they don't really have a good style about them, or good originality, or a good way of acting that makes them cool, right? So they don't really have anyone to look up to, and that's why many of them, they try to integrate with they kind of look up to the local white guys, and they try to be like that, right? But if India produces enough cool guys, cool and aggressive guys, I think things can change. I mean, see, the white people have an advantage because they've actually, raped and pillaged and ruled most of the world over the last 200 years, and most of their confidence and aggressiveness is derived from that. But Indians have been really, pacifists for a long time. But I've actually made videos about our history and our success and everything, but we can derive that confidence from that as well. So the other thing is, Indians, even though they know that they are cute, they act with a lot of humility in front of whites. They are in awe of whites, but they are also think that the whites are from a really advanced society, and that's constantly in the back of their heads, right? But it's only technology; it's no big deal. It can be caught up if you have the money. You can buy technology and be modern and everything, right? So the important thing is to realize that we are a better group, and act that way. And so yeah, these are my observations as to the attractiveness of Indians and how it can be improved and all that. And yeah, so I'm gonna just finish the video here.